Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So, what's on tap for today? Well, we are going to be doing another reaction video of one of our favorite senators, Josh Hawley, questioning a Facebook executive, I believe the COO or somebody high up within the Facebook hierarchy, on censoring and colluding with the United States government of First Amendment speech rights of people that they're taking their platforms on. You know what's been going on. So we're going to get to that in just a second. But before we do, if this is the first time that you're tuning in, we welcome you to the show. You're watching the Dr. Nasir Sheikh Show, and I happen to be your host for today, the guest host. My name is Dr. Sheikh. We hope you sincerely go ahead and hit that subscribe button, notification bell, like and share and follow this video and all of our other reaction videos as well. Let's get to it right now, folks, and let's see how Josh handles this Facebook executive.
Senator Hawley. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Cox, I know that Facebook has said in the past that it's their position as a private company, you're not subject to the First Amendment. I assume that hasn't changed, is that right?
That's correct, Senator.
But the United States government is subject to the First Amendment. I think we can probably all agree on. Hopefully we can. Hopefully that's still true in this country. Is it appropriate for Facebook to work with the United States government to avoid the First Amendment, help the U.S. government avoid the First Amendment?
Senator, we do think it is sometimes appropriate to be in contact with government and with government organizations.
To help them avoid the First Amendment?
Senator, I'm not sure what specifically you're referring to.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think it's appropriate?
Senator, I'm really just not sure what it is that you're talking about. We're wide open. We're an open book. We're so transparent. I have no clue what you're speaking about.
Appropriate to work with the United States government to target private individual speech that is constitutionally protected?
Senator, I'm not aware of that.
Well, let me educate you. On July 16th, 2021.
I love that. Let me educate you. Let me edumacate you. Way to go, Josh. Let me edumacate you.
Facebook, an employee at Facebook wrote to the Department of Health and Human Services saying, and I quote, "I know our teams met today to better understand the scope of what the White House expects from us on misinformation going forward." On July 23rd, 2021, a Facebook employee thanked HHS, quote, "for taking the time to meet earlier today and wanted to make sure you saw the steps we just took this past week to adjust policies and what we are removing with respect to misinformation. This included," and I'm still quoting, "increasing the strength of our demotions for COVID and vaccine-related content." On April 7th, 2021, a Facebook employee thanked the CDC for responding to misinformation queries, and I quote, "We'll get moving now to be able to remove all but that one claim as soon as the announcement and authorization happens." On July 28th of this year, a Facebook employee reached out to CDC about, quote, "doing a monthly misinfo debunking meeting." The CD responded, "Yes, we would love to do that." I'm sure they would. On July 20th, 2021, Clerk Humphrey at the White House, who's digital director of the COVID-19 response team, emailed Dave Sumner at your company, among others, asking any way we can get this pulled down, and cited a specific Instagram account. Within 46 seconds, your company responded and said, "Yep, on it." That sounds like what in the law.
Did you just see that here? Did you see? Where he's a little lump in the throat. He knows exactly what's going on here. He knows exactly what's going on. You can see it in his eyes. You can see it in his facial expression. You can see it with that lump in his throat. This guy knows exactly what they did, but he's going to freaking lie his butt off. You know that. He's going to basically probably say, "Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I can get back to you on that, Senator." I mean, isn't that the classic line? It's sort of like they say, "Thank you for the question, Senator." What do you mean, thank you for the question? You're not thanking the question. Inside you're going, "I can't stand this question that you asked me. Thank you for the question, Senator." Senator, thank you for the question, Senator. Bunch of lying weasels.
We call a pattern and practice of meeting, coordinating, and colluding with the United States government to target particular speech that no one in any of these emails alleges is incitement, which would not be constitutionally protected. No one in any of these emails alleges it directly encourages violence, which would not be constitutionally protected. So it appears to all be constitutionally protected speech on, I might add, very politically sensitive topics that Facebook is directly working with the U.S. government to target and remove. Is that your company policy to do this kind of thing?
Senator, we were quite public about our cooperation with health organizations during the unprecedented time of COVID. We knew that people expected and wanted accurate information on our platform. We had conversations with the CDC, with the World Health Organization, and with other public health organizations, not just in the US, but abroad, in order to understand how to help make sure that folks weren't getting information that could cause imminent harm.
Fair enough. So you're saying that this...
That's not your damn job. Your job is to go ahead and put whatever's out there that people put out there and let people decide for themselves whether it's right or wrong. Whether there's misinformation or just information, whether there's disinformation or it's information. It's not Facebook's job. You're not the freaking editor. Get the hell out of the editing business. You're a platform. Plain and simple. That's the thing, okay, that people can't stand. That you're out there policing speech. It's not your job. You may think it's your job, but it's not.
This was, in fact, company policy to have these kinds of meetings with HHS, with the CDC, with the White House directly, that you did engage in this behavior, and you think that it was entirely fine. Is that your testimony?
Senator, I do believe it's appropriate for companies like ours to be in consultation with public health organizations and with government.
And you can confirm that things like taking down a private Instagram account and adjusting your policies at the behest of the White House and putting into place misinformation policies at the behest of CDC, that those things you think are appropriate. This was company policy to do so. Is that fair to say?
Senator, I'm not familiar with the Instagram account specifically that you're referencing, but we do know that people expected and hoped from the platforms that we would help them get.
No, they didn't. Nobody expected that. You're saying that. Nobody expected that. Nobody wanted it. Nobody expected it. Everybody couldn't stand it. Except those of you that wanted to continue to pull down that information for political reasons and weaponize it. That's what you guys were doing. Don't give us this crapola, okay, that everybody wanted it. Not everybody wanted it. Only those people that wanted the disinformation to go out. And that disinformation was what you guys were sending out. You were sending out the right information. You were covering up the information that was that was valid, and you were shoving that down the toilet and basically putting up the disinformation that was up there that everybody basically knew was disinformation. Don't give us this crapola.
Accurate information about COVID during the unprecedented time, especially at the beginning.
Well, isn't there a difference between you as a platform putting forward information and censoring your users at the behest of the White House, the administration more broadly, and the CDC? Isn't there a distinction there?
We specifically wanted to work with public health experts to understand the relationship between information and behavior. And so we did
And any of those public health experts that you didn't agree with, or the CDC didn't agree with, or anybody else didn't agree with, what did you do? You censored them. You took down their pages, you took down their information, and you basically labeled it as misinformation. When we've now found out that everything that they said was completely 1,000% true. And you guys were taking the information that was valid and basically saying, this is invalid information, this is misinformation, it's disinformation, and that's what you were doing. You're the guys at Meta, you're the guys at Facebook that were lying, you're the guys that were sending out the misinformation, and that's all been proven conclusively now.
Consult with the CDC, the World Health Organization, and others to understand how the platform policies we built were affecting public health.
Well, you didn't just consult with them to understand how they affected public health. You actually censored on their behalf. I mean, you took these emails, I'm just quoting from a sample of them, which, by the way, have been disclosed in litigation. These emails show that you took censorship steps, you took down accounts, you planned misinformation policies, you adjusted your policies at the behest of the United States government. I mean, that's not just some theoretical thing. That's actually targeting your user's speech. But I appreciate your forthrightness, by the way. But you're saying you think that's fine, and that was your policy.
Senator, we've been public about our policies on COVID misinformation specifically, as well as on misinformation generally.
And so you think you're not concerned about any of this? Nothing that I just read to you, you're not concerned about it at all?
Respectfully, Senator, I think the balance of how to protect free expression as well as public safety is a difficult issue, but it's one we're committed to working with outside experts and publishing our work.
Well, I appreciate you being so forthright. As I said, this is actually from litigation between the state of Missouri and the state of Louisiana and the federal government. I anticipate that your remarks under oath today are going to be very interesting and helpful to that litigation. I'll just say this. My view is that the United States government is bound by the First Amendment. They cannot encourage or coerce or incite or collude with a private party to get around the First Amendment. But you've just said to me today that that's basically what they did, that you coordinated with them repeatedly over a pattern of months and years to adjust and target your speech policies for protected speech at the behest of the United States government. I have to tell you, I've got a big problem with that, and I think all your users should too. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Not only that, folks, okay, we've all got a big problem with that. All of us have a big problem with that. I know you have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. We all have a problem with that. That's one thing, okay, and Josh Hawley just basically lowered the boom on this Facebook executive by saying that, you know what, now under oath, you basically have said, yes, absolutely, you are colluding with the United States government. You may not think you are, but in essence, you are doing it. And especially when the government is trying to circumvent the First Amendment, going around. Remember they did the same thing with the FISA laws, the federal international, with FISA, and how they used it to sort of go behind and entrap American citizens, because you can't spy on American citizens. You need a warrant, which was the FISA warrants. In order to get those, they basically have to go to a court and say, hey, we suspect there's something illegal going on. And you tell the judge, you get enough information, the judge says, you know what, okay, I agree with you, go ahead. But they couldn't do it the right way. So what they end up doing, they basically said, oh, we know how to get around this. We want to target this American citizen, and he's talking to these people over there that aren't U.S. citizens. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and listen in on the conversations of those other people that aren't U.S. citizens. And that way, when this person who is a U.S. citizen is talking to him, that's how we'll be able to get that information. So they go back door. That's exactly what these companies are doing too. They're saying, well, we government, we can't interfere in the First Amendment. We can't collude. We can't do anything in terms of that. We can't help you do that. But you know what? Hey, you're more than, here's sort of what we want you to do. And if you decide to go ahead and do it, well, that's okay. No, that's not the way it happens, folks. And that's exactly what Facebook and Twitter were doing, and all these other, platforms that were out there. And you know what? It's good that they got this out there. The information is now public. We know what was going on, folks. We all know what's going on over here. And that's why it's just great that we have people like out there, Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, Josh Hawley, Senator, Cruz, Rand Paul, Marsha Blackburn. I know I'm forgetting so many others out there that at least when these hearings are put, now I know they didn't have a lot of power behind them, obviously, because they weren't in power, but hopefully moving forward with the new Congress that's been enacted, and once they, coalesce and sit down and start going after these companies and start going after some of the people that were doing some shady crap, That's going to be huge, folks. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to watch us here on the Dr. Nasir Sheikh Show. I was your guest host. My name is Dr. Sheikh, and if you haven't already done so, we'd love for you to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us. And I'll leave you with my final thought, and that is when you're right, you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.